Hello guys, here we are trying to understand another interesting concept in Java, that is exception handling. So we know that exceptions are any unusual cases that happens whenever we deal with programming, and they are unusual and we need to handle them somewhere. So exception handling mostly we can divide it into categories like checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. So what exactly checked exceptions are and unchecked exceptions are? So check and uncheck are the normally the categories that we can handle something and we cannot handle something. So what exactly we can handle is the checked exceptions, and what exactly we cannot handle is unchecked exceptions. So we are going to understand all these things with the help of an example as well. And these checked and unchecked exceptions, we are going to see some uh, examples of these as well. So for example, I'm going to understand first of all simple case where I can find out how exactly an exception occurs and how to handle it. So, in order to handle an exception in a flow of a program, we obviously need to understand what kind of exception that we can encounter and how to handle that particular exception. Suppose there is a mechanism that we can use. Normally, we use try catch block to handle the exception. Normally, whatever exception object that has created, we try to throw it and we try to catch it, and we will like to get information regarding that particular object which has been thrown. So this is exactly the mechanism that we usually follow while we deal with exception handling. So this exception handling, let us try to understand this with an example. Suppose I create a new Java class. I call this class as, you can give any name. So for example, I give the name as exception handling. That's not an issue. You can give any name. Just for understanding purpose, I'm giving this name as exception handling. So in this particular package, the session one, I have created a class which is simply your exception handling class, and in that I have main method. Let me remove the comment. Okay, so let us try to understand an exception first, and then after understanding the exception, we'll try to handle that particular exception. Suppose I have integers, like suppose I have integer first. Let me declare that integer with suppose 10. Suppose I have another integer that is second. Let me declare this second with 0. And let us take another integer that is third. Okay. So what exactly I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to initialize this particular third as first divided by second. Now, normally we know that this is not going to happen, because dividing first by second, obviously it will get into certain things that are not exactly we wish to happen. It will definitely create divide by zero problem, and that exactly is our exception. And suppose I try to print this particular case. Now, first of all, we'll see what exactly happens in this particular case. Okay, suppose I try to print this particular third. Okay, so say for example, the value of third is this message. Let me print the value of third. So for example, we are trying to print the value of third. Let us save this. Let us try to execute this. This it is creating one exception. Now this particular exception is divide by zero. Let us try to understand this particular or handle this particular by making use of exception handling. So for example, I try to write a try catch block. Okay, try, and obviously after at the end here, let me write the respective catch block for this, and in this catch block let me print something that is related to this particular exception. Okay, so this is arithmetic exception. Create the object as e, and inside this catch block let us try to print this, what exactly the problem it is. System out dot println, and let us try to print this particular part. Obviously, we do have a method, inbuilt method, that is called as get message. Obviously, it will print what exactly the problem is. Save this, execute this, and we'll see what exactly the problem is. So the problem is divide by zero. Here is the console screen. You can see the problem is divide by zero, right? There is another way by which we can indicate what exactly is going on, and that is by making use of a finally block. Now, what exactly this finally block does? This finally block, irrespective of your program, whether it is getting execute or not, finally block will get executed. It is going to execute anyhow. Okay, so whatever you write inside finally block, it is obviously going to get executed, and that is why the name is given as finally. So this is inside. We are inside the finally block, right? So let us try to save this and execute this, and let us see what exactly happens when we try to execute this. So it is printing like the exception, and it is printing the whatever written inside the finally block. So this is how you can deal with a particular exception. It is not the case that this is the only thing by which we can work or exception. Again, there are so many things that by which we can handle exceptions as well. Okay, so for more videos on Core Java and concepts in Core Java, stay tuned to my channel. Till then, bye bye.